that?
Okay.
Go.
Every third-party deal that we do, there is the sense that we're being screwed and suckered, big or small. The laundry room. Doing our laundry is a 10-step process that involves paying $5 for a non-returnable $5 fee for a card, replenishing it on the second floor, and then finding a machine on the third floor. It's an extremely difficult, cumbersome, expensive process. If any of our board members were to go to any of the condo conventions, as I do, they would see that there are laundry services whereby you simply put your damn credit card in a machine, it bills you for the cost of laundry, and you're done. Similarly with the Rule 11 project, God knows how many tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars this has cost us in excess of its original bid. But I will take a look at the contract and make sure that if it is over the prescribed dollar figure, that we claw it back, and if it isn't, we take action against whoever drafted the contract. Let's review who are our board members on a case, whoever's running on a case-by-case basis. It should be said collectively, if our board was to be collectively described as a person, it would be someone with a head up its ass. This board has done nothing but close ranks. It's maintained a dismantled building link system that prohibits us from talking to each other. And then they have had the audacity to eliminate all get-togethers with the owners, all public meetings. There was one in the dead of summer, and the things that happen in the dead of summer, that is the province of rogues. So this board has been horrendously irresponsible to us, the owners, and for good reason. They are fiddling while Rome burns. They've done nothing to stop this, this slide towards insolvency that we're facing. And what they have done, they've done secretively. It is my understanding that the thieves at Halstead were actually getting ready to give us something like a 6-point surcharge, and the board kicked the can down the road. So there's more bad stuff coming. Okay, I'm going to review all the people that are running, okay? I'm going to grade them. A, Daniel Berenger. A isn't the grade, he's first. F minus. He is the, I call Daniel Berenger and Steve Neeren long con and short con, because they're two of the three most corrupt people that have run on the board since I've been here. And, because we have no access to information. We have 2-minute speeches by which our candidates are supposed to define themselves. This fucker has been able to slither back onto the board in the face of having stuck us with a $500,000 bill for his architect friend, okay, to embark, on an extremely costly lobby renovation at a time when we hadn't gotten our basic budget together, and all the people that I have aforementioned were still stealing from us. He tried to, with his fellow board members, tried to slip this past us, and I and several other people combined to fight back at our own expense with a lawyer. Berenger also is the only owner that has central air conditioning in his unit. So we got to see what's up with that. If there has to be some sort of sanction, if it's okay, how he was able to get away with it. But the guy is only out for himself. F minus. Aaron Fuchs, I believe, I give myself an A minus. I believe that I'm the best that has been put forward in terms of a all around skill set. What can I tell you? I could have been more political. Okay? That said, um, I maintain and I continue to maintain that my rough edges are what you need um, to push back, against the people that have been screwing the life out of us. Paul Lincoln, F. Sorry, I think that for a guy who's a lawyer, I think that the interests that he served on his own behalf were morally questionable. Um, he had a lawsuit against Worldwide Plaza because his terrace was unable to be used because of the Rule 11 project, uh, and even though it had been adjudicated on his behalf, the board was still fighting him, and I think the fact that he was still in the middle of that suit at such time as he ran. He mentioned the day of the election, that at which time most ballots were already submitted. And the other thing is, I think it's selfish. I don't think he did anything on behalf of other owners that have terraces. And really, truly, the way our charges are calculated, it is based on a percentage of the ownership of the entirety of Worldwide Plaza, and all of us have been unable to use the plaza because of this grotesque aberration of a project, whose perpetrators will be brought to justice if I'm elected to the board. So Greg Lynn, he gets a passing grade, but barely. I'll give him a C minus. There is no board member other than myself who has thought about this building and whose brain has been working to make this building better. He is also aware of the corruption in the handyman unit. Problem is, when he caught one of the handymen doing private work, this person threatened him, and Greg did not go to the cops. Okay, you can't, if you fall 2 feet short of the finish line, it's as if you didn't run the race at all. At such time as I find out that Greg has, gone to the cops, I would suggest that he will be one of our best, advocates. But foul by inches is still foul. I went to the cops, and I was told that he had a charge, he had a case, but only he could have brought it. Steve Neeren, as I said, I call Daniel Berenger long con and Steve short con. This guy keeps coming back on the board like a bad penny. He truly, truly takes advantage of the fact that we owners are kept in the dark about what's going on politically and what our history is. Neeren has been censured for improperly using handymen to do renovations in his apartment, and actually was forced to make reparations. So he's really been, were we to have available information, he would be one of those most ashamed to have the audacity to run. But we're kept in the dark, so we kind of live with him. He's really, really, we should never let him near a position of responsibility, because he's corrupt. He has a studio, he has a $50,000 a year business, and all he can do to increase his equity is to get renovations, for under circumstances he shouldn't, and empower um, the um, the resident manager. You see the history of his voting. He and the equally corrupt Howard Spielter alone were in opposition to a kind of to a censorship of the uber corrupt John Stevens when they were on the board. Bobby Pierce, MIA. He hasn't been seen for months. It should be noted that a part of his history that you should know about is he was actually asked to leave the Neer and Spielter board. Wow, what does that tell you? When he was found to have hacked into a communication sent by the board that was then in power in an effort to really make mischief. But he hasn't been around, and I think that absent any kind of trust that we can get an honest answer from our president or anybody else, I think that he anybody who you have to give an incomplete to shouldn't be brought on board. Christopher Streiter, he has a background in finance, and he is married to Shufen Streiter, who was on the board and who is an activist. So he has been better informed about the problems that I've mentioned so far than only myself and Greg are his equal, and because he has such an advanced background in finance, I support him completely. Ellen Taylor, F. What can you say about somebody that may actually not live here and who has actually presided over this plummeting fiscal disaster that that our board our building and our ownership has become. And it's interesting because she's an architect, and specific to her own skill set, she's done nothing. Perfect example. We were stuck with the plans for the lobby that Berenger profited in a secret payoff from his. By the way, the stuff I'm saying about the quid pro quo between Berenger and whatever the architect's name was, it is only a function of knowing that he lobbied the board to give this guy the job, even though he had never had a kind of project anywhere near that size, and also the guy had done plans for Berenger's unit. But so we're stuck with that somehow. We had to pay the entire $500,000. Somebody in charge of our governance never heard of a kill fee, so we took a royal screwing on that. Our other board member, Jeffrey Tischler, who's a CPA, somehow could not negotiate some sort of kill fee or some sort of reduced price for this payoff. And finally, our architect, Ellen Taylor, has not found a dollar's worth of use from these plans. So we're really talking about valueless board members. We have a substantial amount of unusable square footage on our premises, from the courtyard to the various other spaces that Miss Taylor has not offered a clue as to how she thinks they can be used. And what I've been able to divine is that that meeting room that was supposed to be used for owners, that we were using for social gatherings and meetings and stuff, which was improperly, that was what, let me see, it flew in the face of zoning regulations. Somewhere 7 months ago, the board indicated that they were reviewing this, to clear up, and now I understand that it's being used as another office for Halsted. We've got lots and lots of offices whereby people are sitting around doing do-nothing jobs. Let me tell you, these people go when I get on board. Jeffrey Tischler, he doesn't live here, you know. He was invisible when he was here. I repeat, he was invisible when he was here. Now that he's in Texas, voting for him is a very, very bad idea. But Ellen Taylor gets an F, Jeff Tischler gets an F, and it was interesting because the meet and greet, which was held with little publicity and in another building, on another street, making it difficult to get to. She spoke on his behalf. She, so this is a board that just closes ranks, man. I mean, this is what they've done. You read their their publicity, reports. We have learned to work with each other and come together in the service of what? Okay? In the service of closing ranks and letting us go to hell while you take whatever advantage you take of your position. Finally, Amy Wang. I know very, very little about her. She's had zero presence here, and that's a bad sign. Okay, if you haven't heard somebody barking about something, I think that's 2 strikes against them in terms of their, viability for the board. A little bit of research suggests that this may not be her primary residence, and that she may be an employee of Halsted. So, I mean, it's just, we really can't afford to take a chance on somebody who is such an unknown quantity. There you have it. See you Tuesday.